Welcome, one of one.
The most important person here today is the host, because he's the only one here. So I get to say that.
So how you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Just hanging out, about to do the white label demo, show some amazing technology. It's pretty revolutionary. So that's cool. All right, well, I'm gonna wait one more minute, then I'm gonna begin narrating myself. Hi, yes. My name is Matt Hoffman, and I'll be your host. All right, let's get started. Stop video, share screen. We're live, we're good. Here we go. All right, everyone. Hi, my name is Matt Hoffman, and I'm going to be your host today. This building a no-code white label storefront on the MintGate platform. If you are a creator, if you are a business, if you are a brand, if you're looking to get into the world of NFTs and would love to be able to have your own NFT site where you can create your community, you can deploy these assets in a meaningful way that represents your brand and your likeness. MintGate is absolutely the best platform out there to be able to do that, and the easiest platform out there to be able to do that. Seeing is believing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a token project today, one of my own personal projects with the Hobby Cartel, and show you exactly how simple it is to not only deploy your white label storefront with your brand, but to immediately start producing assets with your NFT project. If there's any questions, please save them until the end. Otherwise, let's begin. So first and foremost, anything in this world, anything in the world of NFTs, the access pass, the key that you need to do anything in crypto is your crypto wallet. Today, we're going to use MetaMask as the example. Happens to be my preferred wallet. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I already have that opened up in the browser. Because this is a new project, I'm going to create a new wallet. So it's just simple to start clean. And I'm going to call this the Hobby, or we'll say it's Hobby Cartel. Hobby Cartel owner's wallet. I'll create that as a new wallet. And I do this because when I want to log into MintGate using my wallet, this will allow me to provision a new white label storefront as I already have some already. So I'll go ahead and select MetaMask or prompt the contract interaction. I can see here that this is my old wallet still connected. So I actually want to cancel that and make sure that I'm connecting the right wallet at the point of time. So what I can do is I can go on, I can just hit a quick refresh, and then it'll prompt the interaction again, in which case I'll make sure that I actually have my own wallet set up. Let's go back here, make sure that's connected, and you'll see here it is not connected. So I'm browsing through some of my other NFT projects using different wallets, as you can see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I actually have that connected. And now when I go to prompt in to log into my MetaMask wallet with my MintGate site, it will now prompt the interaction, as you can see here, to allow me to get in. So now that we get past this part, let's go ahead and log in. And what you'll see here now on the screen is I've come into the dashboard. And let me go ahead and dismiss this. So this is where you'll get started building out your white label no-code storefront. And there seems at first glance perhaps like there's a lot of value. That's because there is. But the first thing you want to be able to do is name your project. So I'll immediately go over here to profile settings, and I'm just going to keep this very, very simple. But we're going to call this the Hobby Cartel owner's token, and I'm building it off of this brand here. We're at the intersection of physical and digital collectibles, and I chose this project today because there have been a lot of projects in the community recently that are focused on this intersection of digital goods, NFTs, and physical goods, and what is the right balance and combination of those. And so I felt like this was an appropriate project today. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in here to name that. We'll put this up here, actually. And now I'll change my profile to make sure I actually have my logo. I'll upload that. And I've also got my banner image ready to go. And for this one, I'll choose this file and we'll see how that renders. And then for my email, how you're going to contact me, I'm going to put in matthew@mintkudos.com and save the settings. So this is your first step, setting up your profile, making sure that this is your primary user for your storefront, from which then I'll go back to dashboard. Now I've made that update. And so now we're going to start picking the actual URL. I've already pre-selected one. GoDaddy is absolutely the easiest domain in the US to be able to use, but whatever the domain settings, or wherever you purchase URL, logging into your domain settings and making the change to the DNS records so you can host your white label storefront on this domain for your brand is the next step that I like to take because it's literally the most complicated thing we're going to do today. So I'm going to go to domain and contract, and inside of this, you'll see here there's a few different settings, and I'm going to go ahead and just highlight here to dns.mintgate.io to be able to set up my domain. I've already named this, but we're going to say it's the Hobby Cartel owner's token. I've got my email address. I'll put in one more time. The royalties can be up to 10% now. So to think this through, what this is essentially saying is that you got to make a decision at this point. As a creator on your NFT site, are you going to be the only one who's producing assets on your NFT site, or do you want to allow other collaborators to produce assets? Do you want to allow anyone to be able to come and produce an NFT on your site? This is a very, very important decision to be able to make, and depending on what you select, so if it's just me, I would then say it's private and only I can create. If I want to be able to allow others, but a select group of people, to be able to actually collaborate and produce NFTs on my site, I would choose collaboration. And then if I want to open up to the public, then that's the setting you'll do for that. But I'm going to make it private for right now. I'm going to make this on Ethereum. And then the storefront, so this is, once you produce the asset, if you are going to be working with other collaborators, and they're going to be producing NFTs, they might set the royalty for that NFT to be 10%. Your storefront here also has its own royalty structure, and I'm going to make this one 10% as well. So what this means is that if there's an asset that's 100 Ethereum marbles and your storefront is 10%, and the other creator produces and their royalty is 10%, and then the MintGate fee is about 4.5%, that means there's about 75 Ethereum marbles left after the transaction for the take home or producer of that asset. Go ahead and mute notifications. And I'll set that to 10%, and then I'll save those settings. So now I'll go ahead and I'll notice if I try to save the settings, it'll say no origin domain given. So what I want to actually do here is I'm going to go in and I need to be able to add this domain to this to be able to propagate and connect. So what I'll actually put in is the example will be what I purchased over here under my domain settings, which is the Hobby Cartel NFT.com. So I'll go ahead and change my domain settings. I'm going to go ahead and delete out the park settings. I'm going to take the actual domain and I'm going to go back to my site and I'm going to plug that in right here. Emphasis www dot. And then I'm going to take the DNS right here. And I'm going to come to where you see the www. I'm going to edit this. And I'm going to drop that in right there. And now I should have success. So now when I come back to my actual white label storefront and go ahead and hit save settings, my settings are now up to date. And you'll notice success. Congratulations, your domain has been configured and you can now access hobbycartelowners.nft.com and creating NFTs. Let's go. Sorry again for the interruption and a little bit of a delay there. Sometimes when Discord is messaging me and I'm trying to focus on a consistent, clear thought, try to make this of value to those who might be watching this out in the metaverse after this recording. Sometimes it's hard to be able to kind of get back on track. So thank you very much for your patience with that brief interruption. So now I've set this up, I've got my domain, but I've not set the actual design that I want to be able to have for my actual storefront. So this is where I will go in the dashboard. You will go to your page editor. And this is really cool because you'll see I've already got my logo. I've already got my asset that I deployed here. Now, depending on the theme that I choose, it'll look a little bit different. And so I've already planned ahead of time with my experience with the platform to know that the asset that I produced here will look good on the final example template that I choose. But I'm going to show you how easy it is from this point to make the changes that you need. So first and foremost, title, username, and storefront. So right here, I can say the Hobby Cartel. And then down here, I can say 25 limited edition owners tokens. And I'm just going to go ahead and save that really quick. And you'll realize that it gave me an error message. That's because I've already changed and added my name on the storefront heading. So if I hit save now the username is no longer specified. So I'll drop this in and I'll change the heading. Now there's a problem. This is the first time I've actually had this challenge before. So I'm going to delete all of this out of here. And I realize I'll probably have to put this back in to actually be able to save and make it work, which restores the actual original settings that I have. And now you'll see that, okay, now it's saved appropriately. So if there is something that's wrong that I'm doing right now, I'll post after the fact the lesson learned. But if ever you find that it's not saving after you've changed this content, you can just go back up to your wallet ID, copy and paste that back here, and it'll restore the settings originally that you had here. So you can continue to produce your white label storefront. So now let's go ahead and check on the layouts. So there's a lot of different layouts that you can choose here for your white label storefront. This is the default setting. Creatory, cartwork, simple. If I go to change and look at these, it'll show me right over here exactly how that will look. Now I can see that I actually don't want to use certain assets for the different types of styles that I have. Maybe I want to have a more of a horizontal based asset. If I want to go back in and perhaps change what I have on file to something else, I can easily go do that. And it'll automatically represent that right here. So you can kind of work back and forth. And this is what we mean by no code, because you can actually see exactly how your site's going to look before you save and deploy this onto your domain. So as you go through, it'll give you a lot of different options just with the layout itself. And then I can go down and find the one that I think works best for my particular brand. And I'm going to go ahead and select, we're going to go with this cider one right now. I like the way that sort of displays it. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now my settings have been updated and I can go to my domain, which was www.thehobbycartel. Is that the domain? Yes, it is. The Hobby Cartel Owners NFT. See, I even forgot my domain. That's why it would not show up. There you go. We have it. So I've got my Hobby Cartel's Owners token page now set up. It's on my actual domain, www.hobbycartelownersnft.com. And from here, I will then begin to create the different assets that I want to be able to produce on this particular project, which is a project where I am taking, and I use some raw notes here, just for everyone to be able to see a real project in flight. So this is a project where we've taken these very rare Marvel physical collectibles that we have stored in a vault. And these collectibles today, because they've been graded and are being stored in this vault, carry an asset value. They're collectibles like trading cards. But the market value determines that asset value. And what I wanted to be able to do with this particular project is I said, I want to be able to, for Hobby Cartel community members, if they owned one of these 25 exclusive owners tokens for our inaugural drop, we will tether with the ownership of these tokens a actual physical collectible to help set the value or the bar, if you will, in pricing of what that collectible would be worth. Now, even though the physical asset is setting the floor for how to be able to come up with the valuations for these different variations of NFT, uncommon variants, rare variants, each one with a little bit less in number, a little bit higher in value in terms of the asset value that's tethered to it. But it would really be a great way to be able to utilize the current market valuation of these physical assets to also then couple with the digital NFT experiences and services provided by the business. So only if you own this specific 25 one of these 25 Hobby Cartel owners boxes, then you'll be able to access very exclusive content that I deploy later, features, services that are at a discount, a global discount code that only if you have this token in your wallet will you be able to access. And so to give you some example of the purpose of this project is going to serve, I'm deploying all of those onto this particular site here. So I'm going to go ahead and I've already clicked Save Design, I believe, but just one more time for good measure. Now I'll close the panel. I can open the panel back up. I can go back to the dashboard, and now I can then choose the color layout I want for these tokens. So I'm going to go ahead and click on colors. I've got the default color set here, but we give you a wide variety of actual ones to choose from. And if you kind of go through and test all these out yourself, you'll see, like, for example, if I go to click synthwave, it kind of gives you the kind of color matchup that we have here. The hex color codes are all here. If you're a designer, you want to make some additional modifications to these preset color themes that we have. For me today, I'm going to go with black. That matches up with all of the branding for the Hobby Cartel the best, in my opinion. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save Design just so it updates my settings. And then I can close the actual color preset themes. And now I can focus on the fonts. And for right now, if I want to make the adjustment here, I'll come down and just say, let's go with some very simple. You know what? I'm a big fan of this one. So we're going to go with Architect's Daughter, bold and minimal. And you see it's already made the adjustment over here. And then I can say, I don't really like that one. I want to change that to Chalkboard. Perhaps I want to change this to Maven Pro. I want something that looks a little bit more, less handwritten. And I think I'm actually going to go with this one. I'm a big fan of that. Let's go ahead and save design. There we go. Now my content's been updated. And then this one here is for the radius. So as I go to deploy the actual NFT, this is going to show the spacing between the different NFT assets that I have on the site and how much spacing I want, in the UE elements between those assets. And I like to have it a little bit on the larger side. So let's go ahead and click to save there. And there you have it. So we're going to come back to this page when I actually go to deploy an asset, but I've already saved these now. I'm going to close those. This is the initial setup of the site. I'm going to open back up to the control panel, go to the dashboard, and now I'm going to go to my NFTs, and we're going to create your very first NFT. So the first thing to understand about creating your first NFT is that this is going to be an off-chain asset. So the cost to actually tokenize and or bring this asset on-chain as an NFT, so the buyer of the NFT doesn't have to pay those transaction costs with the gas fees. That's the way it's structured today. So just know this going into it, it's going to be an off-chain asset. But we are in the process of adding additional chains such as Polygon that will be deployed later in the month, which are a much more efficient chain with lower transaction costs for these assets to be purchased. So I'm going to go ahead and reconnect my wallet. And I realize it's giving me the prompt up here. I'm going to make sure that I've got the right one connected. I'm going to click connect. I'm reconnected. I'm going to try again, and we're back. So the very first one I'm going to create here is out of the 25 boxes that we've got between different variations of uncommon, rare, ultra rare, and super rare. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the uncommon boxes first. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to gate this video. I'm going to click for one of the files inside of this, which is the uncommon NFTs. I've got this one here, which will be the Wolverine. Let's do this one first. Which one is out of 20? Excuse me, out of 25. We've got the Cyclops. Now this will append the Cyclops, which would be the video or the MP4 file of this asset that you will get with the NFT. But in addition to that, I'm going to go and also add the different content elements that you'll get with these services. And I've set those up to come with additional value. If you do online card breaks, or you want to have a global discount, or grading services, all of which we can provide this certain level of access. And then I'm going to go ahead and set the title for this, which is the Hobby Cartel Owners Box. And in the description, this is something where you really want to think through, do I already have the content that I want displayed on this NFT or not. And if I'm adding to this, I want this to be content that doesn't limit me to expanding upon additional value that I want to connect to this NFT after the fact. And so the one thing to kind of know with the MintGate platform is that you can actually come back to an NFT that you've created through your white label site, and you can add additional gated links. You can add additional content to your NFT, but this is going to actually go through the process of creating this off-chain NFT, and the content that you put here in this initial description cannot be edited once you've deployed it. So I like to keep this to an absolute bare minimum of what this says that it is. So I don't find myself making any errors. And I know that I can always expand upon that later, but none of the content here is going to limit my story or description. So I'm going to say this is the inaugural, and I don't know how to spell inaugural. So I'm going to just, because I always mess it up. It's like one of those words for me. So we're going to say, okay, inaugural, what does it mean? I don't really care what the definition is. I just want to make sure that I do not misspell it this time around. So I'll say this is the inaugural owner's box. Owner's token, actually. And in that, I also will use a diamond. And then I will say, uncommon edition number 25. There you go. So it's the inaugural Hobby Cartel Owner's Token, Cyclops, Uncommon Edition, number 25 of 25. And if I wanted to, I could add right here a cover for what's going to display for this actual asset. And a great tool, if you want to be able to just create a very simple file format here that works, so I can see exactly what the preview is going to look like. Instead of using Adobe today, I'll actually just pull up a simple tool such as Canva, and I'm going to create a one-of-one asset. So if you're not a designer, if you've never worked in Adobe Creative Cloud or something equivalent, if you have no idea where to start, but you want to be able to create a file format, it's a very simple tool to be able to use to create different file formats, different dimensions and pixels you want to be able to have for the assets when you create them. This is an actual Instagram one-of-one square post. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload to this and create a actual file format that I want to be able to use here for this particular project. So I will actually select in my downloads here, come back to my project, go to my uncommon, select the actual Cyclops one, which is 25 of 25. There it is. This will upload it to videos. I'll also post it here. I'll set that as the background. I'll see that this video itself, once it uploads, I'll allow it to play it, and then I'm going to go ahead and just simply download this into the file format that I want to have so I can deploy that as the preview image for my NFT. I like to have a little motion. I don't know about you. When that's done, we'll come back to it and I'll upload it there. But everything else here on creating this asset now, I'm going to go back in and add later. So next you'll see here, we've got set custom properties. So I'm actually going to put in this, we're going to say hobby collectibles, right? So I'm going to use something where, these are tethered together. Then I'll add another one and I'll say, actually we'll say, shop. Then we'll come in and say, We'll add one more here and we'll say, I'm thinking through this in real time. So not perfect. We'll say NFT, we'll say and then here we'll say you can add additional elements if you want, but I'm going to leave those right there. And we'll say out of this, we'll say edition. Why not? And the number is 1. And I'm going to then set the price. So the price of this is going to be equivalent to, let's call it around 400 USD. So I'm going to do this in Ethereum. So I'll say 400 USD in ETH. It's a great way to look at kind of the current way to do the market price of that. And I'll say, let's go ahead and do this as a 0.1. It's the simplest way to probably set this up. Again, I can make the adjustment later, but for right now, I'll also say 10%. I've got my details. And now that my other asset over here is loaded, I've set it to the GIF file format, and I'll start the download for that so I can finish this NFT, and we'll be good to go. So while that's loading, I also want to pull up here and show you. So if you're interested in building out the actual economics of your project over time. So this is understanding like, there's going to be a cost to deploy your project. I want to be able to look at what my costs are as I'm selling my NFTs, my primary sale or my secondary sale. I'm going to want to understand, what that looks like when I expect these different things to be able to happen across different time horizons, short, middle, long term, right? Is this a very involved token project? Are going to be getting lots of links. This is a very simple tool that I've built to be able to kind of manage some of the variability and costs with cryptocurrency. This is specifically around ERC 721, 1155 tokens, smart contracts, and Ethereum. But if you are interested in having access to this, you can just DM me in the MintGate playbooks, and I'll share you a white label version of this as well, where you can just simply plug and play different costs and revenue sources for your token project. It can give you a very healthy outlook of, okay, first year, I'm not going to make any money. But second and third year, what does the value of my token project look like, and what is the margin of profitability, and or how do I reinvest the purpose back into something meaningful? Am I going to be able to afford to do that? It's just really good to kind of know going into it what the costs are going to be and what you're wanting to achieve from this and what this looks like down the line. So I believe I've done downloading my cover. So I'm going to go ahead and click downloads here. There it is. I'm going to rename this before I do that. We'll say this is the Cyclops Owners Token 25. And now I'll upload my preview. So I've got the Hobby Cartel Owners Token. So this is the title. As you can see, it will show up. So what I actually want to write here is the Hobby Cartel Owners Token number 25 of 25. Now I'm ready to save and create my first NFT, which will prompt the actual interaction with your MetaMask wallet, which I will sign. There'll be one more additional prompt as we wait. There it is. I told you it was coming. I'll sign that. And very quickly, in short order, you will see we have produced our first NFT on the new domain. We want to take a look at what that shapes up to on the actual domain here by refreshing. And there you have it. Now, I'm going to make some adjustments here to the actual naming convention. I'm going to figure out what is going on there. It's probably the user, not the technology, but you can see very quickly in exactly 30 minutes, not only were we able to think through some things in real time, like the content I wanted to use for the NFT. I had some of these assets produced, but I've launched my very own no-code branded NFT site, and I've deployed my very first asset around this. I hope you found today to be of value. Again, if you'd like to have access to the asset that I shared on the P&L or project forecast document, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. You can just DM me in the MintGate Discord. That I am Matt at the Playbooks. And any other questions that you have, you'd like to set up a meeting to kind of go through this in a more one-on-one setting, in my bio, I have a calendar link where you can book my calendar. Thank you very much.